This story is about a manager of a book publishing company whose dua or prayer was accepted when he was traveling. This is described from him. I have had numerous experiences in my life where my prayers were granted by the divine tribunal the moment I sent it up. I'm sure that many other people have also had such experiences. Allah Almighty must have relieved them of their woes and sorrows after receiving their prayers. The prayer of a traveler is more likely to be answered, as per the narrations. I used to publish a special book under my company name. We decided to print it in France. It was a time when my company was progressing in leaps and bounds. In those days, I visited France every fourth or fifth month and supervised different projects. I used to stay there for 3 or 4 days and returned after speeding things up. It was not an easy task. The manager of the printing press treated me with great respect. Whenever I placed an order, he made sure it was printed as early as possible. You may think it my overconfidence that I did not inform the manager about my new plan before traveling to France. We received an order of 5,000 copies of that book, that we had the copies available in 3 months. This was a routine matter under normal circumstances. The book could be printed in just 2 days in France. I got the films prepared before I arrived in France. When I told the manager about this new project and the time frame for it, he shrugged his shoulders and said, "Sorry, we are awfully busy these days, doing a lot of important and urgent business. We can't accept any order at this time. And if we do take it, we will only be able to deliver the service after a couple of months." It was totally unexpected and upsetting to hear this. I was confounded. I tried my hardest to persuade him. I told him that if we failed to supply the book on time as promised, we would be required to pay a huge fine, and it would damage our organization's reputation. Not impressed in the least, he said, "Sorry, sir, I am unable to oblige you this time." The next night was very tough for me. I was disheartened over this unexpected situation. Then I resolved to make a submission to the divine court, where the affairs of the whole universe are decided. I stood before my Lord that night and uttered the following supplication: "O Allah, you know that I am a traveler, and you answer the prayers of a traveler. O Allah, may the book somehow be printed on time." I continued to pray for some time. Soon I learned that the manager was sympathetic and wanted to help me. When I asked him if someone else could help me in this connection, he replied with a faint smile, "Yes, the owner of our company can change the schedule." I recalled that I had already met with the owner once. He visited the printing press 2 or 3 times a year. He had his own plane that he piloted himself. He was the owner of quite a number of companies. I asked when he would visit again. The manager said he did not know his schedule, nor could he ask him for it. A number of our other projects were in progress at that printing press, so I stayed there from dawn to dusk, checking and clearing the proofs. With only 3 days of my stay left, the manager picked me up at the hotel early in the morning, as usual, and said to me, "I have some surprising news for you." I asked him what it was. He replied, the owner of the company was visiting them that day to have a meeting with the director of their company. I jumped with joy. I asked him if I could meet the owner. He said he could not organize an appointment on his own. However, he promised to somehow arrange a meeting if possible. He added that the owner was coming for a few hours and had a hectic schedule. I said, no matter when Allah has brought me here, a meeting with him will take place. My Lord granted my prayer. How the meeting was organized and what we spoke about, I will share in another time. In brief, we had a long meeting. He then called the manager and said, "This man is an important customer we can't ignore. Dispose of his order first, no matter how hard it may be to change our schedule." Alhamdulillah, this is how our book was printed and reached the destination in time. See, in life we may face a situation in which we do not see any hope. However, keep in mind that nothing is impossible for Allah Almighty. So never lose hope, keep praying, and Allah Almighty will help us. And let us take the opportunity to make this prayer when we are traveling. That's for today. See you in the next story.